Before we begin today's episode, I'd like to talk about the number of times in an episode that I say back in a bit. It's come to my attention that people are starting to play drinking games. Every time I say back in a bit, they throw one back. So we're going to change that up a little bit. But first, I'm going to grab a little brewski. Oh. I'll be back in a bit. All right, we're on our way to our spot for the day. It's getting later in the afternoon. Matter of fact, it's noon already. I had to do some stuff in town, so we're getting a little bit of a late start. And now that I'm up here, it's starting to freeze rain all over the place. Yeah, it's freezing up on my windshield here a little bit. But I think we'll make it. And if something does happen, well, we got 2 beef sticks and some sunflower seeds. So we're covered, eh, Rick? All right, back in a bit. All right, we made it. Yeah, we did. You don't care for that deep snowing all too much, but once he starts figuring out he's just got to follow me, it's a piece of cake. Now there's a couple inches of ice back in here. Looks like it's up kind of high. I think the water is pushing it around a little bit, but that's no big deal. I already went ahead and I busted a bunch of this off of here, so I have a little bit more ground to work because it was out to about in there. And I busted a little bit of that off of there so I could get my sluice working. And we do have it up and ready to roll. So without further ado, I'm going to grab a bunch of material out of this kind of the same spot we were at last time. We did all right in here. We got some decent gold. And I think before I leave today, I may at least walk up there without my gear and just break some trail to a couple other spots that I'd still like to get to this winter. If I don't start doing it now, I'll never get back there because it's basically just started snowing around here, and that's going to get about 3 to 4 feet deep in it. But if I stay on it, I'll be able to definitely have access to that back there. So let me get up and running. We'll see what we come up with. Back in a bit. P.S. My wife said, if I don't bring the dog home, don't come home either. So he's getting the beef sticks. Don't worry about that. Back in a bit. Oh yeah. Ah, boy. And for those of you who aren't aware of the type of sluice I use, that is a Royal Manufacturing small stream sluice. It's a 2-footer, and it originally came with expanded metal and carpet underneath. Well, I don't use the typical run-of-the-mill stuff you'd buy in the prospecting shop. I always got to change my stuff around for whatever reason. I find it fun that I can, I think. And on top of that, I took that out of there and I put that sawtooth mat in there. Now that stuff there is originally from Washington beach mining. And I put that in my gold cube because that stuff really does catch the fine gold. And when you're running that beach sand, you know, that stuff's all black. Well, that's the stuff. The gold I'm finding here is the same size of the gold I'm finding on the beach. It may be even a little smaller. So that's why I have that sawtooth mat on there. The length of this thing, there's a little bit of deep V up top, but that's just fine. And then on top of all that, I have this 1/8" perforated punch plate. Okay, now I have that sitting off of that mat about 1/2 inch so as not to disturb the mats with any type of rocks or, you know, if you're running the middle debris. So I just throw gravel right on top of there. The water rinses it right on down, and that thing's just as good as any high banker sitting in the stream if I get the right water flow and pitch. Basically all you gotta do is shovel off the end once it gets too much. So I'm gonna continue working this material. I've been digging right from under here. Grab another one here. Some nice looking gravels in there. Some big ones, small ones, a lot of coarse grained sand, whatnot. I'm gonna throw it on there. See how that clears off real nice? I can punch so much material through this thing, and it's not even funny. All right, let's do just that. Back in a bit. All right, we're gonna do our first clean out here. And you're not gonna believe this, but I forgot a 5-gallon pail. So we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. I've got this small little cup here, and I'll just rinse it out into my pan. That ain't no big deal. No big deal at all, especially with this sawtooth mat. It cleans out so darn easy. You know, it's just one little extra step, but that ain't no big deal. We're still out here having fun. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna throw that back in the water quick so it doesn't freeze. There we are. Now let's take a look at the material in here. Lots of black sand in there. Look at that, there's a couple pieces of big pieces of lead. Look at there, I see bunch of small ones too. I think unless that's ice. I'll have to get that cleaned back. But there's some nice lead. That's a good sign. And some slush. All right, let me clean that back a little bit and we'll take a look at it. All right, we did a real quick clean up here, and there's some gold in there. There's a few pieces there. One a little bit bigger. Look at that one there. It's got a little shape. Let me get that thing off of there. There's a few up in there. It's not too bad. That was about 25, 30 shovels full. So it's starting to get dark in here now. It's kind of hard to tell on here. This thing picks up light pretty good, but the snow is starting to come down a little bit, and it's supposed to get a little bit worse. So we're gonna hurry up and get some more material pumped through this thing before we get stuck in the dark out here. All right, I'm not quite done just yet, but I did want to make a note here. But I've been moving a lot of material, and I found the clay layer. Look at that. So that's about my 5th one here of running really nice looking clay. So I'm gonna run a whole bunch more of these through the sluice. That's always been a good sign on this creek. Ooh, look at that white clay mixture in there. I don't know if I've seen that too much. That was interesting. Yeah, breaks up real nice over the top of that screen. All right, this is gonna be good. I gotta start moving my tailings piles, getting big. Back in a bit. All right, we are done. I got the sluice picked up over there. I got all my sand in this here container. He's ready to get out of here. Yeah, I'm about ready to get out of here too. We moved quite a bit of material here today. Got a nice little pile of tailings here, and dug a nice deep hole right here. And you see where I'm walking here, and that's down in there a little ways. That's over my knee. So you know, a few wheelbarrows full for sure. that was fun. It's getting a little bit nippy. I'm sure it's down well below 20 now. It's get cold quick here late in the afternoon. All right, and we made a trail through the woods a little ways. Me and the boy there, he followed me. He wasn't blazing nothing. We made it up to, oh, I don't know, a few hundred yards anyway, and we were at the spot a while back. This is that big log going all the way across, and that right there is where I found my biggest piece ever. What's that? Nothing. Well, last time we were here, we were working up along inside of here. And I think today what I'm going to do is I'm going to bust all these shelves of ice off the shore for a little ways here. That way, when I come down here, I'll have, it'll be safer when I step out on these edges here. They won't be there. And get out of here, you. And hopefully it'll keep more access to me to this particular body of water for a little bit longer. And I still want to work on the upside of this this log here down in the water. So I'm going to go up top and I'm going to do a little bit of busting some of this stuff too. Like this piece right here. Get out of here. Get all that out of here. Heck yeah, I think that's going to pay off. I'm going to take a bunch of this stuff off in here. Looks like it'll come down pretty easy. Oh yeah. So let me take care of that, and I'll see you in a bit. Got a little ice jam here. Gotta get rid of that. Yeah, there you go. There, off they go. Here they come. Let's more of them out of there. Get out of here. There's a big one. Come on, you. Get off of me. No, I gotta take them out of there. But we did get a nice big chunk of this open back up here. Hopefully we can keep that open for quite a bit now before it gets, 20 below. Then I don't think there's much keeping up then. So we'll get the rest of these out of here. Get that one up out of there. There. All right, we're in business. Let's get back to the truck. Note to self, always put your hood up when you walk through the woods when all the trees are full of snow. Because guess where that snow goes when it falls off the trees? Right down your darn neck. All right, here is the gold from our creek today. Not too darn bad. I might have missed a couple of specks here and there. Panning that stuff out, that stuff is so fine, but we did pretty darn good. A couple hours in the afternoon. I'll take that all day. You know where that's going? In the can. On this episode of In the Can, this time. Hey, what do we get in the mail this time? Well, I'll tell you what we got in the mail. What do we get in the mail this time? I'll tell you what we got in the mail. My buddy over at Top Cat Gold Prospecting, Todd, he's out in California, and he was working the Mother Yuba, and he sent me a bag of pay dirt from out there. It says 1+ grams of Mother Yuba chunky gold, courtesy of Top Cat. And he sent me a couple of cool stickers here, and I'm pretty pumped about this. I've been wanting to pan out some of that California gold. I watched a bunch of those guys' videos out there, and they really look like they have a lot of fun. It's some great country, and they get a lot of gold. You know, that's where Two Toes and all them boys are out there having some fun. And I'm here in Wisconsin having fun too, but I don't get this kind of gold. So we're gonna tear this stuff apart and see what's in there. Back in a bit. All right, I've got all that Yuba River pay dirt in my big blue pan here, and I've got a few pans right next to it in succession, all with water in them, because that material came to me wet. And rather than dry it all out, I'll just take all the magnetics out of it wet. It's either one or the other. It's got to be soaking wet underwater. It's got to be completely 100% dry. So I'm going to go ahead and you know, take a bunch of these magnetics out of there, and there is quite a bit. Just look at that. And then I'll take it from that one, and I'll stick it in this one here. Hopefully I won't pick up any more gold or lose any gold than I have to, and then I'll stick it in this one here. And then I'll stick it in this one here. Like this here. And then finally, I'll just throw it off into that one. Now I think doing that, I got it 1, 2, 3 times, I should be free of, you know, gold sticking to the magnetics sticking to this. So let me take a few minutes and I'll clean all this up, and then we can do some panning. Back in a bit. All right, now I've been doing this a little bit and I'm not done yet, but I just wanted to point something out. Now I'm doing this, I'm putting it in there and then there and then there and then finally off into there. I want to show you the third one in the row here. What I see so far. And there's some gold that's making it. There's another piece right there. A couple of nice pieces actually. So I would imagine I'm missing some flour. It's important to, you know, I'm sure there's gold in there too. That's my final pan off with the magnetics. And I think what I'm going to do is pan these down before I go any further, and then maybe throw that one in a pan quick before it gets too full, and see if I'm missing any more gold in there. But just goes to show you that no matter how much time and effort you put into trying to get that black magnetics out of there, it's still laying with the gold. And there's the proof. Back in a bit. All right, we're back at it. I've got all the magnetics out of this stuff Top Cat sent me. You know, very, very minimal amount. For the most part, it's empty. Here's the gold that got stuck along with that magnetics. Now, that's quite a bit. I thought I was being pretty careful, taking it out of there, not scraping and all that other horse hockey, but apparently I wasn't. But I was careful in going from pan to pan to pan to pan. There's the one I had the finals in. I didn't find but a couple little pieces of flour in there. So I'm confident we got 99.9% of the gold out of the magnetics. So we'll put that in a snuffer, and we'll start panning out the main material here. Back in a bit. All right, let's do a little brief video update. What I'm doing is, after I remove the magnetics, here's everything that was left over. I'm taking a teaspoon at a time, and I'm throwing it in that black pan into my 30 mesh screen right here. All right, then I pan that one out. I suck it up with my snuffer bottle, and I dump the plus 30s into this pan. And let me show you what I've been finding in the big stuff. The bigs, as Top Cat calls it. Look at those big old chunky monkeys right there. This is getting exciting. I've got tons and tons and tons of finds in this little snuffer here. See if we can get a little snapshot of that. Let me settle that down. Yeah, you can see the gold starting to show up in the bottom of that even. So I'm going to continue doing this. I'm going to continue doing that. And we'll pick it back up in a bit. And we're done. I got that whole blue bowl cleaned out. I've got all the finds. I've got all the bigs. Everything in the one pan. I thought that stuff was going to be a little bit easier to pan out than it was, but you know, them guys got it pretty rough over there too, I guess. But look at the beautiful gold and tons of it he sent me. Got some nice big fat chunky pieces in there and a plethora of finds. Look at that. That's gonna put a smile on somebody's face. I'm not even gonna weigh that up. I know that for a fact that's over a gram. So I'm just gonna write a gram on that log I've been keeping for the can. What can? This can. And that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Flour Gold Wizards. We got our usual amount of mediocre gold up at my North Woods spot. It's still fun up there. I like being out in the woods. And we broke up some ice and made a trail. We got some awesome mail from Top Cat. I can't thank you enough. He donated that to the can. It's a gram plus. There's some nice big pieces in there and a bunch of flour too. Thank you. Thank you. I do have a lot more mail actually sitting in the shop waiting for me to get to it. I have a limited amount of time. I'm working on it. So until the next episode, like, share, subscribe. Please do leave a comment. They're really helping build my channel. Throw me a thumbs up if you would. And Flour Gold Wizards out.